Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. Massive Iron Live, Saturday morning. What do we got? September 14th. We all survived. Apparently, we all survived Friday the 13th. What's everybody up to this morning? Why don't you guys give me a shout out? Let me know where you're watching from. I pretty lazy day, pretty steady day here in Ohio. We're gonna go out and do some running, gonna do some lifting. I'm doing an A/B split right now, so nothing too crazy, but been doing about 18 sets of workout, um, messing around with the trap bar a little bit. Before I get into the topic, before I get into the live video, I want to let you guys know if I miss any of your questions. Sometimes YouTube will not work with me. Every time I do a live video, somebody will say, "Hey, man, you're not reading my questions." And if I miss your questions, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because YouTube sucks. And if that happens, if I miss your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM and let me know what you got going on. We got Minnesota, Asim. Where are you from, sir? Where are you from? Let's see if YouTube actually notifies anybody that I'm on. That would be nice because sometimes YouTube takes a while to do that. For those of you guys tuning in late that miss the live videos, you can, I'll answer any questions. You can send them my way via Instagram at Ben the Barman or an email, benthebarman at gmail.com. I answer every question. Dubai, I have one client in Saudi Arabia, not too far away from you, I suspect. Um, but yeah, if I miss any of your questions, just send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. I would be happy to answer your questions. What's going on, Danielle? Finally, Singapore is back in the house. So I before I get into everything, just to let you guys know, I'm offering a free first month of coaching, and I want to stress that that's part of a 4 month commitment. Sometimes when I tell folks this, they just want the free month. And then after I do all the hard work, they don't want the additional 3 months. It doesn't work like that. So if you're interested, send me a DM on Instagram, What is going on, Blasian Ramen? What's going on? Where are you from? Adolfo from Mexico. We got Singapore, Mexico, Dubai, and Minnesota. Minnesota might be the coldest place in the United States. I don't know. Probably not. Well, Alaska. Yeah, I forgot about Alaska. What's going on, Houston? You guys toss up your questions. I'll be on for about an hour, and you can ask me anything: diet, training, supplementation, off topic. Don't really care. I'm gonna have Bullfit after I'm done with this. If you guys are familiar with Bullfit, Kevin, I'm gonna be doing a video with him. We're gonna be posting that up really soon. So, what's up from San Antonio? We have San Antonio and Houston and Vegas. Let's see, Fazal. Would just doing RDLs and squats get me a big deadlift? Uh, well, doing RDLs will certainly help you with the deadlift. But when you switch over to train the deadlift, you're going to have to spend some time working that movement because it's very much different, from a mechanics standpoint than the RDL. So I don't like to, I don't like questions like that, and I'm not trying to be, a jerk or anything, but to get a big deadlift, you definitely have to deadlift. You don't have to do a lot of deadlift volume. There are certain things that'll help your deadlift, like RDLs, like building a big strong back, like strong quads, all that kind of stuff. But whoops, sorry, I'm trying to move my notifications away. But you definitely will have to continue to deadlift. But yeah, the RDL is a good way, a good assistance exercise. So, all right, what do we got here? Philo, thoughts on creatine affecting hair loss? It's an absolute myth. It's 100% a myth. It is. And there's going to be some people that will fight me on that. But all you have to do is go over to examine.com and search that, and you will find the truth. There's no real research, there's no substantial body of research. And with how much creatine has been researched over the years, That's pretty noteworthy in itself. Some people get worried because there's, some physiological possibility, but that physiological possibility has not been proven, and it's so obscure and slim that it's just, we've never seen any cases. And if that were the case, I'd be bald. I actually have hair. Just kidding. All right. Just a reminder, if I miss your questions, post them up again. What's going on, Ireland? I got Jonathan Devaney is in the house. Jonathan is a client of mine from Ireland. And let's see, drunken bastard. That sounds like a recipe for trouble this weekend. What's your opinion on flats versus heeled shoes for squats and deadlifts? Well, heeled shoes, no way for deadlifts. You want to be flat-footed. A heel will push your body forward, will push your center of gravity forward just slightly, and that's something you really want to avoid on deadlifts. Most people have botched deadlift form to begin with, so you really want to not have a heel on the deadlift unless there's some oddball physiological reasoning, with your bone structure and your body structure and all that kind of good stuff. But squats, I'd like you to try to do flat-footed for the same reason. Squats are going to push you a little bit forward. Most people have issues during the squat, and early on when they're learning the squat or mastering the squat, they tend to get a little bit forward, tend not to use hip drive, tend not to drive up into the bar. So I would start flat-footed. When it comes to the squat, some people need a little bit of heel, need Olympic lifting shoe, but there's no way I would do that right out of the gate until you have spent some time working on your squat form and just seeing what you can do flat-footed, if that makes sense. And that's not a law or a rule I'm making up. It's just some general advice. So I hope that helps some. Oh, what's going on? Lubbock, Texas. We got a lot of Texas. We got Lubbock, San Antonio, and Houston. Chad is tuning in from sunny Colorado. Chad's a client of mine as well. Darren Vest, hello from New Hampshire. How many miles a week are you running? We are on about day 138 right now. And we had been running on average 50K a week. So we've been using kilometers just because my wife is Australian and kilometers are shorter than miles. So it feels like we're going further than we are. So we're doing about 50K a week. I have a 30K run in Cumberland Falls and a 52-hour run coming up as well. So let's see, known as CLH. Hey, glad to see a live stream here. Love the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Rafael Guzman. My mother-in-law is 500 pounds and bedbound. Her obesity is bad to the point that she can't even walk, let alone sit up. From my observation, it takes a toll, not just the obese person, but the family. Rafael, that's a very, very good point. And, everything in life is more complex than we usually try to paint it as. Any form of abuse, food abuse, alcohol abuse, even choices we make that we try to tell ourselves are harmless and don't impact other people, they do. Sometimes they just impact other people internally. People have to see or watch and it depresses them. So yeah, absolutely. Obesity can take a toll on many, many people in the family. It can take a toll mentally. Obviously, it takes a toll physically. And, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch somebody eat themselves to death. It really is. Let's see. Yvonne, are squats and deadlifts on the same day okay? They can be okay. A lot of the upper-lower splits that I put together have squats and deadlifts on the same day. What I like to do is have a more squat-focused day where you go and do squats and then lighter deadlifts or RDLs. And then on the second day, I like to have a more deadlift focused day where I start off with deads and do lighter squats, say for 12 or even 15 rep sets. So yeah, you can. It all comes down to the programming. There's no magical one way to program them together in a workout. They absolutely can be performed in the same day. You just probably not a good idea to go balls to the walls with both of them on the same training day. You're going to have to rotate intensity, which is weight relative to your 1 rep max, a little bit, or maybe even volume. All right, let me get a drink here. Let's see. Danielle, why do you think there is an obesity epidemic in the U.S.? I live in a first world country too, but we don't have that issue. The U.S. is only like, I believe it's only like number 23. The fastest growing country for obesity is the UK, Europe. A lot of times, here's part of the problem, and I'm going to be honest with you. And this isn't a pro or American, patriotic stuff. It's just numbers and statistics. People like to talk about the obesity. The media likes to talk about the obesity epidemic in the U.S., but a lot of the Middle Eastern countries and Polynesian countries and even countries like Europe and Australia have faster growing rates than we do. And that's the reality. Those are the statistics. There's obesity epidemics everywhere in the world. The Japanese recently addressed it. It has to do not with countries, but with processed foods and cultural, access to food choices. So if you Google which countries are the most obese, you'll find the U.S. is not even close to being number one. There's many countries above it, and if you search the UK fastest growing obesity rate, you'll see that there's other countries that are about to blast into that top 20 and well past the U.S. So I hope that helps some. And in Singapore, I don't know about Singapore. I've never heard about the obesity statistics in Singapore. Quite honestly, because I don't have a lot of viewers from that area. But I would encourage anybody to rationally approach this and set aside the media hype or some of the hype that comes out of certain countries that tend to be more anti-U.S. Because look, obesity. I don't like to. I don't like to. Get involved in anything that's divisive. I'm glad I got viewers from all over the world because I'm just a schmuck doing YouTube, and I want to help people and countries and race and colors and all that, religions. None of that stuff matters to me, but helping people, and I know most of my viewers are the same way. So just try to look past some of the bias that comes out in media from certain countries. Anyway, long ramble. Joseph Rodriguez, upper shoulder blade traps pain after bench press. I don't really know. I mean, upper shoulder blade, it could be just a case that you're weak. When you say pain, I don't know. I need to know more information. And when I say you're weak, that's not an insult. But sometimes, the lifting process, as you're getting stronger, as you're challenging your body, you're going to get aches and pains. That's part of the process. Your tendons are getting stronger. Your muscles are getting stronger. They're being challenged. When somebody says pain, I don't know if that is just a strain, whether it's a tear. So I'm not trying to avoid your question. I would just need a lot more information. Philo, I'm off for a double creatine shot without fear. Yep. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. If creatine causes hair loss, do it because bald men are sexy, right? There's really nothing you need to know more than that. Bald men are sexy, and men and women, or women and men, if that's your thing, they can't really resist us. So just go deep with the creatine. All right, I'm just being silly here. All right, Asim, flat versus incline bench. Which one would you choose if you could only do one? It's really not an either or. Both are good. Both are good choices. Do the one you enjoy. There's not going to be a better winner over the long run. They're really good exercises. If you're doing the incline, just do a slight incline. Don't do an exaggerated incline, and use the one you want. To say which is better, really neither is better. What is better is getting stronger on the one you like. So I hope that helps some. And doing both, that's the best. That's the best. When you have an either or question like that on which exercise is better, do both. And some people say, I don't have time in my workout to do both. We'll do incline one week and flat bench the next. What I did for a very long time is I would lead off with uh, a bench press, and I would follow it with dumbbell incline bench press. And then the next week, I would lead off with incline bench press and then follow it with dumbbell bench press. So I did both of them for a very, very long time. All right, let's see here. Keep the questions coming, guys. Anything, lifting, supplements, off topic, whatever, doesn't really matter. Again, if I miss your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide in my DM. And just a reminder, I have a first month free of coaching, first month free. That is part of a 4 month commitment. You don't get a free month and then leave after the free month. You have to stay for 4 months. But if you're interested, I have about 9 more slots right now. And I've been expanding my client base. You can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman for more information, or head over to my website Super Living Today and get you a massive iron t-shirt. All right, end of commercial. What do we got here? For Joseph G, for intermediate lifter, can you continue to build your chest without using a chest fly movement? Absolutely. Of all the movements that we do for chest, I think some of my least favorite are cable crossovers and dumbbell flies, especially dumbbell flies, because I found a certain way of doing dumbbell flies that don't aggravate the shoulders much. You kind of move not just this way, but move a little bit up like you're doing a cable crossover. When I have that little bit of upward movement with dumbbells, it feels a little bit better on my shoulders. But chest, I love dumbbell bench volume. What I would normally do is go in and do my heavy sets on bench, a 3 to 5 rep set, drop the weight by about 7.5%, do a set for as many reps as possible, drop the weight by another 7.5%, do as many reps as possible, and then drop it one more time. Then I would go over to dumbbell bench press and do 3 to 5 sets of 10. Then I would do 2 to 3 sets of as many reps as possible, push-ups, and by then I was pretty much done. Occasionally I would do cable crossovers and things like that, but by then I was pretty much done. So you don't need a fly movement, but if you do decide to have one as a finisher, then just pick one that you enjoy. A fly movement for chest could be like a pec deck, could be a dumbbell fly, could be a cable crossover, that sort of thing. All right, keep the questions coming. If I miss your question, post it up again. I'm not trying to blow you off. Things can just get a little bit hot and heavy in here. Philo. Alternative exercise if no access to a leg press machine. Already squatting and lunging. All right, you don't have a leg press. You can do a Bulgarian split squat. In the case where you have no leg press, sometimes what I really like to do for legs is do a lot of volume and supersets. So you're squatting and lunging. What you could do after that is move on to maybe lighter front squats and superset that with lunges. You could maybe do a monster superset of lunges and bodyweight jump squats. I'm not sure if you have access to a leg extension machine. I'm assuming if you're in a facility that does not have a leg press, you probably don't have a leg extension machine. Bulgarian split squats, jump squats, I would do supersets like lunges and jump squats or that sort of thing. You could also add in, again, some lighter front squats for reps and do a superset as well. But in the case where you have limited equipment for legs, and my gym is right back there, I do a lot of jump squats, bodyweight squats, lunges, and basically a lot of squats. I don't really like bodyweight split squats or Bulgarian split squats. They don't really feel good for me, but you can do a lot with those exercises. I hope that helps some. Let's see, Darren. Have you had a chance to read up on Ross Edgley? He's the dude that swam around Great Britain and ran 30 marathons in 30 days. He maintains a very muscular physique, but also trains cardio like a beast. I will definitely check them out. That's very interesting because we tend to treat the human body like it's some frail little egg that'll crack, and you won't be able to build muscle if you run a lot. The problem is, I'm finding this out, and no disrespect to runners or the running community, but as I do more running and am around more runners and trail runners and ultra runners, there are not a substantial percentage that actually train hard with resistance training. A smaller percentage. What that percentage is, I don't know. I'm not gonna spout an arbitrary percentage, but I see runners all the time, maybe one or two at every race, male runners that have a decent degree of muscularity, not a bodybuilder degree of muscularity, but certainly a body that the average person would want, right? The average male would want. 16-inch arms, 185-pound frame, just looking good, just looking really fit. So, this idea that the body is so fragile is really quite nonsense. The reason why runners look like runners is typically they don't train resistance training, and a lot of them, they run so much that they tend to eat a lot of crap. I see a lot of them eat a lot of crap. There's one runner I read about this week that runs 20 Ks a day, and halfway through he stops at Taco Bell, if you can believe that. So anyway, that's kind of an extreme, but you get the point. Tom, I've been training for 5 years. I have only done squats for legs until recently, targeting hams. Can I expect newbie gains in a neglected area? Squats can be very lifter specific. Some people see a lot of quad growth from squats, and some people are more ham and glute and hamstring dominant, and they don't see as much uh, results from squats as they like. On the internet, occasionally you will see people say, I'm squatting, but my legs aren't really growing. A couple things are usually happening in that case. Number one, they're not actually monitoring their leg size by taping it every month, and they're being very, very impatient. Or number two, they're not doing enough volume. You see, I mean, yeah, you see some 3x5 and 5x5 programs, but overall, there's not enough volume in that program. If that's all you're doing on a weekly basis for your quads, you're going to get some gains out of it, but it's probably not going to be optimal as if you were adding in other quad exercises, if that makes sense. So if you add in other exercises to your weekly regimen, you're probably going to see a noticeable increase in quad size. And when I say noticeable, I'm not talking about gaining 2 inches in a month, but I think you will see over time, if you do this for a couple of years, that your quads will come around. Grandpa Fat Boy, hello from Belgium. How is it going in Belgium? Known as CLH, dumbbell chest or cable chest or bench first when attacking chesticles. Big, big juicy chesticles. Look at that. I can still do that. Not bad for an old man. Um, you always want to go compound movements first in almost every case. You could do a cable crossover first, and then go on a bench press, but you're going to have to go a little bit lighter because you don't want to increase the likelihood of injury. I would always go, does it matter if you do bench or dumbbell bench press first? No, but the secondary movement is probably going to be a little bit less intense and for more reps or more volume, if that makes sense. Christopher Morton, cigars and lifting, your thoughts? Absolutely. What you need to know about cigars is you do not inhale cigar smoke. Many people are unaware of this. They just go under the assumption that if you smoke a cigar, you inhale it like a cigarette. Cigars are much more nicotine intense than a cigarette. And if you inhaled it and inhaled that cigar smoke for about an hour or half an hour, you would get sick. Cigar sickness is a real thing, and I've experienced it several times when I was dehydrated or extremely hot or hungry. So cigar smoking, absolutely, with any physical endeavor. You can do it with any physical endeavor because you are not inhaling. It's not going to damage the lungs uh, at all. So just keep that in mind. Adolfo Martinez. What do we got here? There we are. Opinion on full body Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and arms on Saturday. Um, it really depends on the program structure. You want your arms fully recovered on Monday for whatever pressing or pulling movements you are going to be doing. And a dedicated arm day usually has, let's face it, a decent amount of volume. So if you're doing on Friday, you're doing arms to a minor degree because you're doing a full body, you're getting in some bicep work and some tricep work. Then on Saturday, you're crushing arms. It's probably, unless it's a minor arm day, it's really unnecessary. And if you're after arm size, your best bet is to really crush those sets during your full body week and just chilling. If you want to add extra arm work in, I would do it on your full body days, but not to the point where it jeopardizes, your ability to safely do your compound movements, because then things are ass backwards. You're increasing the risk of injury, tearing a bicep. You're weakening yourself. You're weakening yourself on compound movements by overworking the biceps and triceps. The real way to get big biceps and triceps is to crush your compound movements and get strong as the Hulk, and then add in a little bit of isolation work after that for arms. So I hope that helps some. All right, Yanni, I bought your book for Rep Goal System. I love the idea of it. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate anybody that's interested in what Yanni's talking about can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, or just search the Massive Iron ebook at my site, superlivingtoday.com. I love the idea. How would you split workouts when training 4 days a week, but days may change? I don't really like doing full body or upper lower splits. I would do a rotation like this. You have 4 workouts, right? And they could be chest, triceps, back, biceps, shoulders, traps, legs, whatever. That's typically, how I structure them. But you don't work the same days each week. You have an order for these 4 workouts. What I would do is go in when you can lift and do the first workout, and then the next day you can lift, do the second workout, and then the next day you can lift, do the third workout, and just continue to cycle. A flexible schedule like that isn't going to hurt you. If you are occasionally only able to do 4 days of training every 8 days or every 9 days, that's going to be okay. But normally you should be able to squeeze in 4 days a week, or 4 days even every 6 days. So let's say you start on Monday and you do, chest. And then on Tuesday you're able to work out again and you do back. After 2 consecutive days, I would probably take a rest day, because I find that to be very beneficial. 3 days in a row of training can be a little bit fatiguing. If you can handle it, go for it. But even in that case, you take Wednesday off, you hit it on Thursday, you hit it on Friday, take Saturday off, you can go back on Sunday, and you got 5 training days in that week, but you're just rotating between the workouts. Don't think you have to stick to some arbitrary 7-day-a-week schedule, that it's going to magically produce more gains or anything like that. That's nonsense. You can rotate or be a little bit more flexible. As long as you're not doing one body part every 2 weeks, you're absolutely fine. Tufa. Have a crazy schedule. Work 3 graves a week at a group home and teach science at a middle school 5 days a week. Schedule is temporary. Can I make progress training 2 days a week, and how can I optimize effects? Absolutely. One of my clients actually is asked me the same thing, and I put together a schedule for him that is 2 days a week. How can you optimize the efforts? Well, I would look in. You can come to me for help. I'd be happy to build a workout for you, but with my client load, it's a service, and I'm going to be upfront. I have to, I can't build workouts for people for free because I'm so busy right now, and I hope you guys can respect and understand that. But if you search John Christie 2-day workout, or even if you search 2-day workout, I have some on the internet. 2-day workout, Steve Shaw, whatever. I have some on the internet that are good structures. But John Christie is a strength coach that's no longer with us, that had a book called Real Muscle, Real Strength, and he's passed away. It's an impossible book to find, but it contains, you should be able to find his program somewhere on the internet, and if you can find it, that's a really good start. If not, send me a message on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I will help you find it. And if you just want me to build you a workout, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and I can do that as well. So I hope that helps some. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'm going to be on for about another 30 minutes. Any questions you have, diet, training, supplementation, off topic, don't really care. Just slam up here and I'll get to everything no matter how long it takes. Tolis, 12. Training guidelines for a teenager looking to become stronger and bigger, looking to become a competitive powerlifter. Training guidelines are the same thing I present in every single video, Tolis, every single video. Attack the compound movements, get your form good, continuously work on form, get a lot stronger than you are today, have a progressive overload plan going in every single workout, know what your progression approach is, use a reasonable amount of volume, don't go for a minimal training program, or don't abuse the body with 30 to 40 sets, have some kind of reasonable volume, get your diet consistent. You don't have, as a teenager, you don't need to count calories. You need to eat a lot of whole, clean foods, eggs, chicken, meat, veggies, fruits, milk, all that kind of good stuff. And try to make that 80% of your diet, right? Get in your protein. You want to make sure you're not under eating. You want to make sure you're getting in at least about 150 grams of protein a day. And it doesn't hurt to use an app to track your protein. You want to have a real consistent diet, meaning you're not under eating one day and overeating one day, or having all junk food and no protein one day and then having a really clean diet the next day. You need to be consistent with your nutrition because you're trying to fuel yourself. You're an athlete. So, attack the compound movements, use a reasonable amount of volume, be patient, learn exercise form, get your food in. That's it. There's no magic. And be driven like a son of a gun. Check out my video yesterday on Savage Mode. That is the real key. And man, I got so much information on building muscle and strength on this channel. Use it. Use it as a resource. All right, let me get a drink. We got the Green Monster today. All right. The Rue. Only have Smith machine at our gym. Does it knacker your knees or is it a myth? Well, a Smith machine forces you to squat in a defined, very mechanical plane. It's not a natural squat. So you have to be really aware of how it's treating your body. When you are being forced to move the body in a specific way rather than naturally, and you add resistance to that, especially on a heavy compound movement like that, you are increasing the likelihood that you're going to jack something up. What I would do, I would never treat a Smith machine squat like a regular squat and try to do really super low reps. It's something I would use for volume. So I hope that helps some. And I would study on YouTube information from somebody that's actually done the Smith machine squat and knows them a lot better than I do. So I hope that helps a little bit. You also asked, would I just grab the dumbbells and start doing leg work? There's a lot of things you can do without a barbell. But honestly, if that were me, I would probably try to do Smith machine squats and superset them with like 100 bodyweight squats or 50 bodyweight squats or 50 jump squats or 100 lunges. I'd get really super intense and attack the quads using that. So I hope that helps some. I may or may not even lift. Same here. Top 5 strongest YouTubers, Instagrams that people don't know about. Whoa, I don't. That's an amazing question. I may or may not even lift. Ask the question: strongest YouTubers or Instagram that people don't know about. I know a lot of strong people, so I wouldn't even, you know, begin to know where to start on that. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to think. I will tell you this: Sean Clarita came number three in the under 200 Mr. Olympia or whatever it is. I met Sean. Sean's like 5'1", 5'2", and there's a picture picture I took with Sean where we're doing we're doing a bicep shot, and I make him look like a midget. I make him look small from a size standpoint. But don't get me wrong, Sean is a beast. But Sean is strong as heck. And there's so many bodybuilders out there like that I've met that are just super strong as heck. Let me get my notification away. So man, I couldn't even begin to start. In my world, there's so many strong people. It's really hard to answer. But you guys can let me know what you think. Yanni, how much would you do volume for weak arms? The question really, Yanni, is if you have weak arms, the volume shouldn't be focused on isolation movements. The volume should be focused on compound movements. For example, you want to be doing a good bench press volume, a good overhead press volume. I advocate 2 overhead press exercises per week, a dumbbell and a barbell variation. Probably the same thing for chest. For back, you want to do a lot of rows. You want to do a lot, vertical pulling, that sort of thing. Get your arms strong, 80% from that. That's going to build your arm strength. That's going to be the 80% of your arm strength. After that, you can do your close grip benches, your push-ups, your cable tricep extensions, your easy bar curls, your preacher curls, your cable curls. I like an exercise I really like is reverse grip lat pull downs because you can get a really good squeeze right there on your bicepticon. So build your strength with compounds and then add a little gravy at the end. Thaddeus Fields is one of my clients. A lot of my clients tuning in today. What's going on? Deadlifts later. Tufa says, thanks as always for your help. You're welcome. And again, if I miss anybody's question, slide into Instagram at Ben the Barman and post your questions. And let's see. Tiong, if I pronounce any of your names incorrectly, I apologize. Is 3 sets per muscle group enough? I do full body workout, and I found that if I do 5 sets per muscle group, my workouts will take too long. 3 sets is enough if you make them count. Absolutely. If you're a rank beginner, a novice, you can push every set for as many reps as possible, and I cover that in my book Massive Iron. As you become a late beginner, early intermediate, what I like to do, and I advocate for a lot of my clients, is just pushing the last set for as many reps as possible. So there has to be some focus on bringing up the intensity of those 3 sets, but some focus on making them count. When you have a set in the mix that you're pushing for as many reps as possible, you're recruiting a maximal amount of muscle fibers, and that's really good for the muscle building process, and muscle adds strength over the long run as well. So keep that in mind. Joe McBratney. Also my cardio is poor. I started trying to do at least 3 20-minute jump rope sessions in a week. Should I be doing more? No. A good baseline for any of us is to probably do 3 sessions of 20 minutes where your heart rate is elevated a week. And I know some that are watching don't see the value in cardio because their goals are to look better, and that's great. But I would highly encourage you guys to not just focus on looking better, but on overall health. And cardio is something you should do if you want to do cardio. 3 sessions a week for 20 minutes where your heart rate is elevated is a good place to start. Do you need more than that? Not generally, no. Unless you have very specific goals or you just want to really improve your conditioning. What do we got here? Chiang, and of course I use your rep goal system. Okay, let's see. Tolis, what's your opinion on plant protein from rice, potato, oats, bread? Should I count it? Absolutely count it. The only way it's going to be a concern is if your amino acid profile sucks. If you're only eating a few sources of plant protein, like one or two. Count everything that's protein. Uh, it doesn't matter if it comes from a plant. Protein is protein, and combined with a lot of good meat, uh, choices, you're going to be absolutely fine. Count them, count them. Let's see. Run G19, thoughts on the vertical diet. Um, I have a couple of articles up on the vertical diet, and it's certainly a fine way to eat. We can debate the minutia of the vertical diet, but it's not a bad way to eat. Things like rice. I prefer black rice or black rice and white rice mixed, but I have nothing bad to say about it. At the end of the day, is it something you're going to run for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. Can you run it for a short-term goal? Absolutely. Is it well-rounded and well thought out? Absolutely. Do I find it particularly appealing? No, because I don't like to eat the same type of foods every day. I like to be a little bit more flexible because I'm old. I don't like to be OCD, and I just don't find it's very fun. But if you do and you have a short-term goal, go for it because there's nothing wrong with it. I may or may not even lift. Freaky D 550 claims drug-free and has amazing lifts and athleticism for a big guy. Natural strength Duncan double overhand deadlift 700 pounds while claiming drug-free. Is impressive as heck. Freaky D is a good guy, and I interact with him a lot on my group Massive Iron. You guys can join us on Facebook. It always has something smart and intelligent and quality to contribute. So I respect him a lot, and I don't dive into the who's drug free realm, not for any holy reason or whatever. I just simply don't care what people do. I really don't. I really don't care, and I don't like to even discuss who's drug free and who takes drugs and all that kind of stuff, because you know what? It's just too much mind clutter. All I'm worried about is myself, if that makes sense. Raphael, should you eat differently on training days? No. You want to stick to a pretty consistent routine. Remember that uh, food intake is more than just calories. If you're lifting hard and exercising hard, your body is in a constant state of recovery and repair. 24 hours a day. Every day you sleep, you're repairing. Your muscles, depending on how you work out, your muscles are constantly being upgraded, repaired, you're recovering. So I recommend eating the same. The only time that's different is when you have a very intense endurance type of day. And I'll give you a couple examples. When I run 2 hours a day, which I do 5 days a week, I have to eat more calories because I'm freaking hungry, because it's a lot more. I burn like 1,600 calories in those 2 hours. That's a lot of calories to toast. So if you have a day where you go out and do a lot more endurance stuff, then you need to eat more. I got a client this morning that's, moving 200 bales of hay. I told him to eat more food, right? So that's really the only exception. Charles, what's up, big hairy ugly dude? I've switched to a bro split because I recover best. How many sets should you do since you only work body parts directly once a week? For a minimum on a bro split, 9, 12 to 14 is probably a better sweet spot for major muscle groups, excluding hamstrings, because hamstrings get a lot of work from deads and squats. But what I do, for example, is I would go and do my bench work, go and do my dumbbell bench work, go and do 2 sets of like push-ups, and then I would do like a finisher isolation movement. Usually 4 exercises, 12 sets is pretty good. On the minor body parts, that's very body part specific. Do you need calf work? Well, most people have either big calves or really shitty small calves. It's going to depend. Traps, I like about 4 to 6 sets a week. Arms, triceps can take a lot more beating than biceps. So generally, 6 sets of biceps, and it's not a rule, it's just a guideline, and maybe up to 9 sets for triceps if you want to do that little extra tricep work. All right, keep the questions coming, guys. I have about 15 more minutes. And again, if I missed your question, slide over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'll answer every question. You can also email me at benthebarman@gmail.com. And if you need help with your exercise selection, your workout, your nutrition, if you want a body fat assessment, or if you want my coaching services, head over to superlivingtoday.com or message me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I would be glad to give you more information. Hannah, do you hook grip or over under grip on your deadlift? Actually, I was just talking to a client yesterday about this. Hook grip to me feels like torture, right? It just feels like torture. I always feel like I'm ripping something out of my thumb. Mileage may vary on that. You might like it. If you like it, use it. I don't particularly like it, and I don't find too many people that really thoroughly enjoy it. But if you can, go for it. But with over under, my client asked this question yesterday, I believe. Will you develop imbalances? What I would always do, because I'm a little bit OCD, is I would always alternate one set, one set, one set like this. I don't know. I was just OCD. I've always been that way on over under with deadlifts. When you're not using VersaGrips or straps. So I would do that if you want to be OCD like the big hairy ugly dude. But what to do? Should you use hook grip? There's no rule there. You can try it. If you don't like it, just toss it aside. I may or may not even lift. Also, compare and contrast the prep and actual competition day of a powerlifter versus running a 30K. Wow, that's a very, very good question. I may or may not even lift. Compare and contrast the preparation and actual competition day of a powerlifting meet versus running a 30K. Both are very, very intense. I think mentally intense. When I was powerlifting, there's so many variables. How to set your lifts, when to get to warm up. There's just so many logistical things. Paying attention, when to get your knee wraps on. A lot of that comes from experience. Leading up to a powerlifting meet, having a heavy squat on my back for a long period of time, I would take running a 30K over that anytime. The 30K I'm doing at Cumberland Falls this month is freaking insane. Me and my wife went out and walked the course, and it's rugged, it's insane, it's brutal. But you know what? You just have to climb up rocks, and you get super fatigued, and half the time you're cursing yourself because you just want it to end. But I'd rather do that any day than to continuously put 600 pounds on my back on the squat, just because it's like you have to be so focused and so in the zone on your form so you don't get hurt. I think there's just a greater increase of getting hurt. And the preparation, for running is you just go run, and it's pretty simple. But you just have to make sure you're not running too much, and you really have to listen to your body. And we like to have one longer run a week. We don't generally set how far we run. We just want to try to get more than 10K. So I hope that helps some. Charles, I started in January and bench workout with 95 pounds. Now I work out with 185 pounds, but I haven't got much bigger. Is this a diet issue? It could be a diet issue. It could be a volume issue. It could be an overall program issue. There could be little bits and pieces that you need to add in, like maximizing sets, like adding more volume. But it could be a diet issue. You want to set minimums each day in calories and protein for your goals. So that's one of the things I really stress with anybody that wants to be serious. Do you need to micromanage macronutrients? No. Do you need to be consistent and set minimums for protein intake and calorie intake and hit them every single day? Yes, because we have, if we are not monitoring ourselves to a minimum degree, we could have 2,200 calories one day with 110 grams of protein, then 3,700 the next day. All these little, bumps and things that along the road, it's best to smooth them out And you also have the micronutrient factors. You want to make sure you're getting in a lot of micronutrients. Exercise is intense. It increases the demand in the body for micronutrients and even things like electrolytes. So, got to have your nutrition squared away. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Flying therapy, how's it going? Tola, supplements that can help you recover better when you can't eat and sleep well for a long period of time but want to train and improve. Recover better. Well, first off, you want to, if you're under stress, you want to make sure you got a good probiotic, okay? Because there's a lot of information coming out that there is a connection between the gut and the brain, okay? There's a strong connection. So you want to make sure you take care of your gut health, okay? You probably, if you can't eat right for a long period of time, you probably want to take something like a fish oil. You probably want to take something like a green supplement to make sure you're covering your bases with food. I'm not really, you might want to take something like vitamin D because you're not taking care of yourself. Maybe you're not even seeing enough, getting out in the sun enough. What am I missing? You probably want to make sure your electrolytes are on point, okay? Because you're jacking up your body. So if you're jacking up your body, what we're really trying to look at is your body in a broader spectrum. Am I getting in enough vitamin D? Am I getting in enough micronutrients? Am I getting in enough things like fish oil? That sort of thing. So I would cover those bases first. Nothing's going to be magical for recovery, but the best thing for recovery when you're under stress is to make sure your nutrition's on point. And at these times when your nutrition isn't on point, that's where supplements come in as being supplemental. So I would look into some of those types of supplements. Charles, you enjoy awesome, big, hairy, ugly dude. Enjoy your weekend. You too. Thank you for your support. Joe, my split is 5 days a week, 2 legs, and then I alternate between either 2 push upper body workouts and 1 pull. Then the next week would be 2 legs, 2 pull, 1 push. That sounds like a good way to work out. Never seen that split before, but it's big, hairy, ugly dude approved. And Indra Jeet says best supplements for recovery. I just covered on those a little bit, but depending on your lifestyle, you want to get in maybe a green supplement if you don't eat enough vegetables, vitamin D, fish oil, a probiotic. That's a good base. Guys, I got about 8 minutes left. If you have a question, post it up now. Last call for questions. Tolis, one last question. 17 years old, 75 kilograms squat. He weighs 75 kilograms, sorry. Squat 130 kg, deadlift 157 kg, bench only, never say only with your strength lifts. Don't ever say only. 80 kg. Why do you think my bench is so weak? You're 17, you weigh like 75 kilograms, you bench, let's see, like 180. Your bench is only weak because you're younger, okay? That might sound like a silly thing to say, but you got to put in some more time. That's it. It's not weak. It's just not where you want it to be. Focus on getting in some good chest volume, some good tricep volume. Don't neglect your biceps. Get in some work for that. Get your upper back as strong as you can. Get your shoulders as strong as you can. Overhead press. Do 2 lifts per week. A barbell and a dumbbell press. And do a reasonable amount of volume on those. Do a good amount of volume on your triceps. Get those stronger. And get your nutrition consistent, okay? Make sure you're eating a lot of good, clean, whole foods. You're getting a lot of food, a lot of real foods, and get your protein intake consistent. And it will go up over time. Just be patient. You're only 17, and I don't mean that in a insulting type of way. You can between 17 and 20, you get that sucker up to 340, 350 if you just continue to be consistent. So just be consistent. Let's see. Rich Knapp is in the house. You know what? I just want to let you guys know that he was the first wheelchair pro bodybuilder. Somebody that I honor to call a friend, somebody I used to train with a lot. He said, Mac asked me to say hello. How's it going, Mac? And Rich used to do some crazy things in the gym. We would be in my basement doing 200-pound dumbbell rows, and I think at the time he weighed half of what I did, and he would be rowing the same. And I've seen Rich do pull-ups in a wheelchair with his wife hanging off his back. They Rich is definitely a freak and somebody I care a lot about and somebody I respect greatly. All right, guys, that's it. That's been Massive Iron Live. Look for my videos, live videos, every Saturday. I'm trying to do them more frequently. If I missed any of your questions or you're late to the party, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, and send me your questions. I'll answer every question. If you need coaching or you need assistance with your lifts, form critiques, whatever, head over to my website, Super Living Today. I am offering a free first month of coaching with a 4-month commitment. You have to stay for 4 months, but the first month is free. You can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, and I will give you more specifics. We can set up a time to talk. I appreciate everybody's support of the Big Hairy Ugly Dude. I sincerely do, and have a great weekend.